Hello everyone and welcome. Aether Raids has been out for a while, and I think it's had a strong start, but there are some things that need to be adjusted. By making this video, I want to provide my feedback in the best way that I know how. First, Spring Breeze is too good compared to other maps. In my original Aether Raids map comparison, I noted that Spring Breeze, alongside Lava Flows, was one of the stronger options, but I never expected it to become so ubiquitous. Spring Breeze is just the best choice, apparently, for anyone taking defense seriously. It's the best for stalling, it's the best for cavalry traps, and it's the easiest map to set up a guaranteed dance. All of that is possible thanks to the multiple unbreakable walls, which, when combined with your fort, enable you to build efficient choke points that disable almost every avenue of attack. It isn't impossible to win on Spring Breeze, but it's much harder than most other maps. That is a problem. Luckily, it is a problem that can be fixed. All we need to do is remove one of the pillars on the top row or replace it with a breakable wall. Either one would open the terrain dramatically. This modified map would still be good. It might even still be the best, but I don't think it would be quite as dominant. Second, we need a limit for dancers on both offense and defense. In a game mode where taking high-quality actions is crucial due to the turn limit, having a dancer is pretty much mandatory. On defense, without a dancer, your team is a non-issue. On offense, without a dancer, traps are incredibly dangerous, and positional assists, while good, aren't up to par. Combining multiple dances with powerful, non-interactive damage dealers, and you have yourself a recipe for, well, not a very fun environment. Dance is an important element of both Fire Emblem in general and Heroes specifically. It's something we should have access to, but not in excessive amounts. I think a one dancer limit would be reasonable. Give both teams access to dance, but cut back on multi-dancer teams. Third, defense lift loss is unintuitive and unnecessarily high variance. I have no problem with losing lift from defense. After all, building a strong defense is, and should be, crucial. However, because you only lose points from the first attacker each day, your overall record doesn't actually matter. In other words, two players with identical defense records, but who were attacked in a different order, could lose different amounts of lift over the course of the same season. In a mode that is competitive in a lot of ways, I think this is just silly. The solution, I think, is to make every defense match count, but you're still capped to 80 lift lost per day. In practice, this would mean that everyone is losing more lift, but players who are actually capable of defending would lose less and could distinguish themselves more in the rankings. This is by no means a perfect answer, but I think it'd be a lot better than what we have now. Fourth, upgrading buildings and team slots is both way too slow and way too important. We might not notice this because we were there when it started, but imagine joining the Aether Raids metagame 6 months or a year from now. If something isn't changed, it will take literal months for any new player just to catch up with building upgrades and team slots. While I think players who were there at the start should enjoy some advantage, the new player experience in Aether Raids, as it currently is set up for long-term failure. Just consider fort level as an example. Because your fort level is gated behind your income, players who join late will be starting at both a resource and statistical disadvantage, buried under a huge pile of fort bonuses with no other option but to just wait. Also, don't forget, if you do poorly, you earn less resources to upgrade, so not only will new players get stuck at the bottom, it will also take them longer to climb out. Finally, we just need answers to Razzle Dazzle healers. Having strong, mobile, player phase damage is important for the health of the metagame. These units force players to think outside the enemy phase box and encourage us to diversify our raiding parties and make better tactical decisions. These units are only as strong as they are because distant counter is broken, and because building enemy phase units is honestly simple and overpowered. Healers are a little different. Because they have access to free fire sweep, a whole host of powerful secondary effects, avoid the weapon triangle, can't be broken with a breaker skill, and deal magic damage, they're far more non-interactive and frustrating than traditional damage dealers are. Let's be honest with ourselves though. When we talk about Razzle Dazzle being overpowered, we really mean Veronica. The combined power of her weapon, offensive stats, and mobility is overwhelming. Firesweep Lyn is worth mentioning since she is similar, but the fact is, she deals physical damage, and that makes her much easier to handle. Plus, when danced, her second attack doesn't get a huge 8-point stat swing. Although I don't like it, I think the answer is printing a hard counter. This can be done in one of two ways. The first option is to just print a skill that disables skills which prevent the unit from making a counterattack. In the interest of fairness, such a skill should only activate against ranged opponents. As a B skill, it would naturally compete with stuff like fighter skills and guard, so I don't think it would cause too much collateral damage. Obviously though, printing a skill that would be 5-star locked is a less than ideal solution, but I think it would be better than letting Veronica run rampant forever. The second is giving the anti-sweep effect to Raven Tomes as a special refine. This would solidify Raven Tomes in their anti-colorless niche. This isn't a perfect answer either. Everyone would just bring a Raven Tome, and at that point the meta isn't healthy either. There really isn't a good solution other than a nerf to Dazzling Staff itself, but that won't happen for a bunch of obvious reasons that I don't think we need to get into. I guess at a certain point, players are just gonna have to decide for themselves if dealing with Veronica is worth it. AR isn't in a terrible place. I like the mode, I like that it's stressful, competitive, and yes, difficult. But it's far from finished, and hopefully IS agrees with me. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider leaving a like or subscribing. You can find me on Twitter at DireThunderYT, so feel free to send me cool stuff or just drop by to say hello. As always, I hope to see you next time. Take care.